Welcome to the debate. At the 2026 World Cup, the most dangerous weapon on the pitch, it won't actually be a superstar's left foot.
No, it's going to be an algorithm in the locker room.
Exactly. Tracking 29 points on every player's body 50 times a second.
Which is wild. And, for the first time in history, that weapon isn't exclusively owned by the wealthiest football federations. FIFA is handing it out to everyone.
Yeah, we are talking about Football AI Pro. It's a proprietary generative AI platform rolled out to all 48 competing national teams.
The prevailing narrative here is that this is, the ultimate equalizer, the tech that finally democratizes international football.
But does equal access to this massive data engine actually level the playing field? Or do the traditional pillars, specifically the interpretive brilliance of the coach and the chaotic, raw talent of the player, still dictate who ultimately wins? I'm firmly in the camp that technology is just a passenger here. A coach's judgment and a player's inherent talent will always supersede automated data analysis.
And I fundamentally disagree. Democratized AI completely rewrites the competitive landscape. By eliminating the historical informational advantage that wealthy nations have always held, data becomes the primary equalizer, making it so the old football hierarchy is effectively neutralized.
So I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective. Handing everyone the keys to a Formula One car doesn't mean everyone knows how to drive it.
Okay, but at least they have a car now.
Sure, you give all 48 teams this incredible AI model. Great. But that data is entirely dependent on the human brain trying to decode it.
Right.
The documentation on this rollout explicitly warns about information overload. We're talking about processing over 2,000 distinct performance metrics, hundreds of millions of data points every single match.
It's a lot of data.
It's a paralyzing amount of data. That kind of volume doesn't just inform a coaching staff, it can completely overwhelm them. So the ultimate advantage remains exactly what it was 50 years ago, which is the coach. You need that human intuition, that psychological grip on the team, to filter a tsunami of data into one single actionable instruction. And frankly, smaller nations often lack the hardware or the trained analysts to even engage with it properly.
But I come at it from a different way. You really have to look at the baseline we are starting from before you can judge the upgrade.
Go on.
This sport has always been structurally skewed, right? For decades, tactical preparation was just gate-kept by money.
Well, yeah, money buys analysts.
Exactly. Your elite clubs, your legacy national teams, the Frances, the Brazils, the Englands, they could afford entire departments of PhD statisticians, video analysts, and software engineers.
Sure, they had the resources.
They had complete tactical vision, while developing nations were basically just guessing. Now, Football AI Pro give a nation like Panama, Jamaica, or Wales the exact same generative AI assistant.
Built specifically for football.
Right. It generates interactive charts, cuts video clips, creates 3D avatars for everyone. We're talking about strategic insights that used to cost millions of dollars, now just sitting on a tablet in every single locker room. It absolutely neutralizes the historical dominance of the rich.
Okay, but a tablet in every locker room assumes everyone reads the tablet the exact same way. Let's get into the mechanics of this, because this is where the theory hits reality.
Sure.
You mentioned the 3D avatars and the charts. The data capture is staggering, right? 12 dedicated cameras in every stadium, capturing 29 distinct data points on every single player.
And it's capturing those 29 points at 50 hertz. That is 50 times every single second.
Right. But what does 50 hertz actually mean for a coach standing on the touchline in the rain?
It means the AI isn't just seeing a player run. It's measuring the exact micro shift in their weight distribution, the angle of their hips, literally a fraction of a second before they strike the ball.
That's incredibly granular.
It is. Add to that a sensor inside the ball itself, transmitting data 500 times per second to the video operation room. We are tracking the precise millisecond of impact. What this creates is a perfect, inescapable informational ecosystem. Ignorance is dead.
But is it?
Yes. In the past, if you were a smaller federation, maybe you didn't have the travel budget to send a scouting team to watch your opponent's friendly matches in Asia. Now, you don't need scouts. The AI processes thousands of hours of historical match footage instantly. It tells you that when the opponent is up by a goal, their left back pushes exactly 5 yards higher up the pitch. That eradicates information scarcity forever.
Okay, I'm not doubting the sheer speed and accuracy of the tracking. The 50 Hz limb tracking is a technological marvel, obviously. But information scarcity has just been replaced by a completely new problem, which is information processing scarcity.
How so?
You're assuming the output is universally understood. FIFA provides the software, sure, but the source text we are analyzing explicitly states that disparities in technical infrastructure remain a massive hurdle.
Well, they're working on that.
But an AI model that tells you the opposing right back drops his pressing intensity by 12% in the final third, that's fascinating trivia. But it is utterly useless if the Federation doesn't have the analysts to translate that 12% drop into a Tuesday afternoon training session.
I disagree.
You can democratize the software, but you cannot democratize the human capital required to actually exploit it.
But you're applying a 2015 mindset to a 2026 technology. You're assuming the system just dumps a massive spreadsheet onto the manager's desk and says, good luck.
It kind of does.
No, it doesn't. Football AI Pro is designed exactly to bridge that human capital gap. It functions like a highly specialized language model. Think ChatGPT, but it only speaks football tactics.
Right, the generative text part.
Exactly. It doesn't need an analyst to translate it. It translates the raw 50 Hz data into plain text explanations. It identifies a vulnerability, say, a gap between the center backs, and literally generates a customized multi-step game plan to exploit it.
It attaches a short video clip showing the exact spatial opening, yeah?
Right. You don't need a PhD in data science to understand a notification that says the opposing goalkeeper has a 78% tendency to dive right under high pressure. The AI is synthesizing tactical preparation better and faster than any human coach could ever do it manually.
Wait, better than any human coach? Are you saying the algorithm is literally out-coaching the manager?
On a pure tactical processing level? Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Think about it. It operates in real time. Say the opponent tweaks their pressing structure in the 22nd minute. A human coach might take until halftime to fully diagnose the structural shift, get to the locker room, look at the video, and figure out a countermeasure.
By then, you're down 2-0.
Exactly. The AI flags the shift the second it happens and pushes the solution to the tablet immediately.
Okay, I hear that. But solving a crisis on a glowing screen doesn't solve it on the mud and grass of the pitch. This is where I think the fundamental misunderstanding of football really happens.
Go on.
It's like preparing for a match using Stockfish, the chess engine. The AI can show you the mathematically perfect move to trap the opponent's queen. If flash is green, it's a brilliant move.
Right? And you make the move.
But football isn't played by carved wooden pieces. Your pieces have a heart rate of 180. They are breathing heavy, their legs are full of lactic acid, and they have to physically execute the move in front of 80,000 screaming fans. The text itself makes a crucial admission here, saying the system is semi-automated by design.
Which is just a technological safeguard, honestly.
No, it is a philosophical truth about the sport. Let's take your real-time example. The AI flags a drop in a midfielder's pressing intensity in the 60th minute. It sends an alert, the algorithm sees a pattern of fatigue and suggests a substitution.
Which is objectively the right call based on the data.
But only the coach on the sideline understands the emotional context of that 60th minute. Is that player actually physically exhausted? Or are they deliberately conserving energy because they picked up a yellow card early on?
The AI factors in yellow cards.
Okay, but maybe they are emotionally rattled from a missed pass 5 minutes ago. The AI doesn't know about the argument the player had in the hotel that morning.
Fair point.
The coach's empathy, their gut understanding of team chemistry, completely supersedes the pattern recognition. The AI says, sub him off. The coach knows that subbing off the captain right now will destroy the team's mental resilience. The human is the final arbiter because human beings are playing the game.
I don't disagree that humans play the game, obviously, but the foundation upon which that human coach makes their arbitration has completely shifted.
How so?
You keep mentioning gut feeling. Gut feeling is often just unconscious pattern recognition based on incredibly limited, biased human memory. The AI has access to limitless, unbiased memory.
Like the Liverpool FC and Google project?
Exactly. Consider the work Liverpool did with Google to predict corner kick outcomes based on historical data points. That isn't a gut feeling. That is machine learning uncovering strategic geometries that the human eye literally cannot process in real time.
Sure, for set pieces, it's incredible.
But for everything? When national coaches use Football AI Pro to simulate scenarios, they aren't outsourcing their leadership. They are radically upgrading their vision. By inputting a tactical approach and letting the AI predict the opponent's exact response based on thousands of data points, you allow a team of lesser-known talent to systematically suffocate superstars.
Suffocate superstars? Come on. How exactly does an algorithm physically tackle a world-class striker?
By automating the strategy to choke out the spaces they need to operate. The FIFA Player app tracks movement trajectories off the ball. It reveals positioning awareness and, crucially, movement inefficiencies.
Okay.
Let's say you're managing Wales and you're up against Brazil. Your squad doesn't have the same raw explosive acceleration, but the AI has analyzed the exact movement inefficiencies in the Brazilian attack.
So it tells you where they'll be.
Exactly. It tells the Welsh coach how to build a defensive structure that perfectly preempts and neutralizes the spaces those Brazilian superstars traditionally exploit. The system tracks distance covered with meter-level precision. When you optimize the defensive tactics to that molecular level, you neutralize the raw individual talent that wealthy nations have always leaned on.
That's a huge assumption.
You don't need a superstar defender if your average defender is standing in the mathematically perfect spot before the ball is even kicked.
That completely implies that knowing what a genius is going to do grants you the physical capability to actually stop them.
It helps.
The text points out that all 1,248 players in the tournament are 3D scanned. We have their exact body dimensions, their explosive power metrics, their top speeds.
Right, total transparency.
But knowing that a generational winger accelerates to 35 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds and heavily favors cutting inside on their left foot, that doesn't engineer the innate defensive agility to actually stop it from happening.
It doesn't engineer agility, no, it engineers discipline. If the AI directs the defensive line to shift 1.5 meters to the left based on statistical probability, the passing lane to that winger never opens. The superstar is neutralized by the structure.
But wait, let's play that out. Let's follow your logic to its absolute conclusion here. Because I think this is where the whole equalizer argument actually flips on its head.
Okay, let's hear it.
If Football AI Pro is distributed to all 48 teams, well then Brazil has the exact same AI, right?
Yes. Both sides have complete informational parity.
Exactly. So Panama's AI builds the perfect defensive structure to stop Brazil. But Brazil's AI instantly analyzes Panama's perfect defensive structure and builds the perfect offensive countermeasure to dismantle it.
Right.
And Panama's AI counters that. If the AI equalizes tactical preparation completely, if every single coach knows exactly what the other is doing with 50 Hz precision, then the tactics effectively cancel each other out.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Right? Think about it. When the gridlock of equalized data takes hold, what breaks the tie? It's not the system. It's the human who breaks the system.
Interesting.
When tactics are perfectly matched, a player who can do the unpredictable, the player whose raw physical talent defies statistical modeling, suddenly becomes vastly more decisive. If everything is mathematically optimized, the unquantifiable, chaotic superstar is the only thing that can break a perfectly optimized defense. So by giving everyone perfect data, AI doesn't neutralize the superstar. It actually elevates them. It makes raw, innate talent the ultimate currency again.
That is honestly, genuinely a brilliant way to look at it. You're arguing that perfect order makes chaos more valuable.
Exactly.
But I think you're still viewing talent as some sort of unquantifiable, magical aura. The AI doesn't see magic, it sees a series of optimization opportunities.
How do you optimize magic?
Well, the source material details how this technology creates continuous, highly personalized feedback loops for player development itself. The AI is literally raising the technical floor of the players before they even step onto the pitch.
By giving them personal metrics?
Yes. Players receive individualized breakdowns comparing their specific pressing patterns to elite positional norms. They see a 3D model of their own movement inefficiency and get concrete adjustments.
Okay, so they improve faster.
So much faster. A developing 19-year-old player from a smaller federation uses this data to accelerate their learning curve. They bridge the gap between average and elite in months instead of years. The technology isn't just analyzing the match, it is actively upgrading the physical and technical capabilities of the players.
Look, I won't deny that giving young players clear benchmarks for elite performance is a massive leap for global academies. It absolutely raises the floor.
Thank you.
But raising the floor of the basement doesn't mean the ceiling of the penthouse comes down. The gap remains, which really forces us to look at what we actually mean when we use the phrase a leveled playing field.
Right. And to me, a leveled playing field never meant every team suddenly possesses equal skill. That's a utopian fantasy. It means the tools of warfare are equal.
Okay.
It means the outcome of the match is determined entirely by actions on the grass, not by who has the better supercomputer in their home country. Look at how this tech applies to officiating, the semi-automated offside technology.
Oh, that's a huge one.
We've got the 12 cameras, the 29 points, the 500 hertz ball sensor. The system performs automated quality checks, verifying if a striker's kneecap is offside, and it cuts the VAR review time by 30 seconds.
And instantly produces 3D animations for the stadium screens.
Exactly, showing the exact moment the ball was played. Why does that level the field? Because historically, smaller teams were disproportionately the victims of human error or subconscious referee bias that favored the big nations. When the VAR decisions are this transparent and instantaneous, smaller nations aren't defeated by a lack of resources or bad calls before the whistle even blows. The infrastructure of fairness is finally universal.
I am completely for the eradication of human error in officiating. I mean, seeing a crystal clear 3D avatar explain a complex offside call to 80,000 screaming people is a massive upgrade for the sport.
Absolutely.
But equalizing the tools of fairness is not the same as equalizing the competition itself. Think of it this way. If you give a brilliant Michelin star chef and a decent home cook the exact same state-of-the-art kitchen with the same perfectly calibrated ovens and the exact same ingredients.
But the home cook in this analogy,
Let me finish. The tools are equal, but the meal the Michelin chef plates up is still going to be vastly superior. Because the differentiator isn't the oven, the differentiator simply shifts. In international football, we are shifting from who has the best data science department to who is the most creative human coach to intuitively grasp that data in real time and who has the most instinctively gifted players to execute outside the margins of the algorithm. The hierarchy hasn't been bulldozed, we've just changed the metric by which we measure it.
But the home cook, in your analogy, is no longer cooking over a campfire while the Michelin chef uses a modern oven. That is the critical difference.
I mean, true.
The baseline capability has exploded. The AI is giving that home cook step-by-step instructions on how to plate the meal. Yes, the chef or the coach must make the final call, but the AI is drastically reducing the reliance on subjective evaluation.
So it's about access.
Exactly. By completely removing the financial barriers to elite intelligence, Football AI Pro allows a team like Wales or Panama to compete purely on strategy and execution. The competitive advantage is no longer something you buy, it is something you apply. And since smaller nations can apply this AI just as effectively, perhaps even more aggressively because they have to disrupt the status quo, the playing field is functionally leveled in the ways that actually matter.
It is leveled in access, sure, but access isn't execution. Even the text itself admits that the human element remains absolutely essential.
Of course.
The system constantly checks data quality to avoid false positives, but humans still have to verify the AI's accuracy before notifying the referees. Humans remain in the decision loop because football isn't a solved equation. It is a profoundly complex, chaotic, emotional interpretation of space and time. And that human interpretation is where the hierarchy lives.
Yeah.
So let's try to synthesize where we've landed on this. We're both looking at the 2026 World Cup as a profound paradigm shift. But for me, while Football AI Pro processes an unimaginable depth of data at 50 hertz, the essence of the game remains distinctly human.
Right.
A tsunami of 2,000 metrics requires a filter, and that filter is the coach's interpretive mastery. And beyond that, as we discussed, when tactics are perfectly equalized by AI, they cancel out. It is the individual player's raw, unquantifiable, chaotic talent that breaks that gridlock. The technology is incredible, but it remains a passenger to the human beings driving it.
And my takeaway is that AI has successfully shattered the financial barriers that historically distorted international football. By giving every single nation an identical, world-class generative AI assistant, the massive informational advantage of the wealthy elite is gone.
Yeah, that's undeniably true.
Smaller nations can now optimize their player development. They can automate their tactical preparation, and they can step onto the pitch knowing they aren't fundamentally behind before the game even starts. The democratization of data is the great equalizer. It ensures that matches are decided by what happens on the pitch, not by the size of a federation's analytics budget.
Well, I think we definitely agree that this tournament establishes a completely new reality. Data informs absolutely every level of the game now, from a sensor inside the ball to the automated detection of a goalkeeper's diving tendencies.
Without a doubt. The integration of machine learning and computer vision into real-time tactics has forever changed how the sport is understood and played.
Yet we clearly remain divided on the ultimate impact. Does this technological democratization truly close the gap between the perpetual underdogs and the elite powerhouses? Or does it just change the arena in which the elites dominate? As AI continues to evolve, its true impact on football's competitive balance is going to require a lot more scrutiny. We started by talking about 29 data points being tracked 50 times a second. It turns out, measuring the game perfectly might just remind us why it's impossible to perfectly predict it.
The algorithm gives everyone the map, but the players still have to run the miles.
Exactly. As the whistle blows on the 2026 World Cup, we'll see whether the algorithm or the athlete writes the final chapter.